I'm going to say something that may rub a few people the wrong way, but I think it needs to be said. Do not move to Thailand just for a woman. Now, before any of you take that the wrong way, I'm not saying do not marry a Thai woman. I'm happily married to a Thai woman. My wife is one of the greatest people I've ever met. We have a home here. I care about Thailand, and I care about the life that we're trying to build here together. What I am saying is different. Do not build your whole retirement plan, your whole financial plan, and the rest of your life around a romance alone. A good relationship can be a blessing for sure. A good Thai wife can be a great partner, but love is not the visa plan. It's not a retirement plan. It's not a financial plan. And it's not a substitute for slowing down, using your head, the correct head. This is the kind of real world thinking I like to talk about in my one-on-one Thailand retirement and relocation consulting. Not the fantasy version, not the patio bar stool version, and not somebody trying to sell you some pipe dream. Just a practical conversation about your situation before you make big decisions. You can find that, if you're interested, at ricksadventurestv.com. I want to clarify, I'm not giving legal, financial, visa, marriage, insurance, tax, or immigration advice. I'm just sharing my true personal experiences and how I made these decisions. Before you make a major move, talk to the right professionals and make sure you understand your own situation. So today I want to talk about why moving to Thailand for love can work, but only if you're honest about what you're really doing. Welcome back to Rick's Adventures, everybody. Anytime you talk about Thailand and relationships, people tend to run to the edges. Some men act like Thailand is paradise and every problem they had back home will disappear the minute they meet a Thai woman in Thailand. Other men are extremely bitter and act like every woman in Thailand is out to get them. I don't live in either one of those worlds personally. Real life is not that simple. There are good women in Thailand and bad women in Thailand, just like there are good women and bad women back home in the USA. There are honest relationships, and then there are relationships that we build on loneliness, money, convenience, or just some type of fantasy. That is not just a Thailand problem, that is a people problem. The difference is that when you mix romance with retirement, moving overseas, visas, family expectations, property, language, and money, the stakes grow dramatically. A bad decision is just not an awkward breakup. It can change where you live, what you own, how much money you have left, and what your retirement looks like for the rest of your life. That is why I think this is worth talking about extremely carefully. Not with any type of anger, not with fear, just absolute honesty. Okay, guys, attraction is not a way to make a life plan. A lot of older men come to Thailand and feel something they have not felt in a long time. They feel noticed, they feel respected, they feel younger, they feel like maybe life is not over after all. And I get that, and that can be very powerful. If a man's been divorced, widowed, lonely, or just worn down by life back home, Thailand can feel like somebody opened a window and let fresh air into the room. Maybe a woman is kind to him, maybe she listens, maybe she smiles. Maybe she treats him better than he's been treated in many, many years. That can get into a man's head really quick and his heart very fast. Even if he doesn't want to admit it, it happens. But attraction is not the same as compatibility. Feeling alive again is not the same as having a solid plan. A few good weeks together does not tell you everything you need to know about someone's character, their family situations, debt, expectation, or what your actual daily life's going to look like when the vacation feeling wears off. And it will. That's where some men get into trouble. They're not thinking clearly. They're reacting to how good it feels to be wanted again. I get it. I really, truly do, guys. But it's not the best time for you to make decisions on selling your house, moving money around, getting married, or making decisions that are hard to reverse. The vacation version is not the everyday version of life here. There's a big difference between visiting Thailand and living in Thailand full time and with the same person every day. When you're visiting, everything has a little bit of a shine on it. The food's different, the weather's warm, the woman you're spending time with is happy to see you. You're not dealing with boring and stressful parts of your regular life yet. I mean, everything's looking good. But you're not dealing with paperwork, you're not dealing with sick relatives, family obligations, village expectations, debt, bank problems. The list goes on and on. You also have friction that comes when two people come from two different cultures, try to build a life together. That part comes later, and when it comes later, you need more than attraction. You need patience. You need trust, and you must have communication. You need a realistic understanding of what each person expects from the other. A relationship that feels easy during a visit may become very stressed when you're living together. When you have money involved, families, different cultures. Now, I'm not saying that this means it's not going to work. Of course it can work. It's working for me. But you need to slow down long enough to see the real version, not just the vacation version, not the fantasy version, not the version that somebody's feeding you on YouTube, including me. You need to see this version for yourself and for real. Culture is more than just food and temples, you guys. A lot of Americans and Westerners say they love Thai culture, and I get it. I understand what they mean. They like the food, the temples, the smiles, the markets. Everything's a slower pace here, and the way life feels very different here. But culture goes a lot deeper than what you just see on a vacation trip. Culture affects how people communicate. Has big effects on how they handle conflict. It affects family responsibility, money, pride, embarrassment. There's many problems that you need to get talked about up front and to avoid conflict. In America, we often are much more direct, sometimes too direct. In Thailand, directness can land differently. Saving face is a big deal here. Tone can matter, family can matter. These type things can create trouble in a relationship, even when both people mean well. A Thai wife might not explain something the way an American man expects. I've had this happen to me many times. An American man may think he is just being honest while she feels he's being rude or embarrassing or just doesn't understand what he's saying. He may think a family request is unreasonable while she sees it as perfectly normal, just a normal responsibility. So nobody has to be a villain, for there to be conflict. Sometimes two people are just working from two completely different rule books. That's why you need to understand more than the romantic side before you build your whole life here. You must realize family is part of the picture. In Thailand, family is usually not something that sits off to the side. Family is directly woven into your daily life. Now, that can be a very good thing. Thai families can be very close. They help each other. They stay connected in ways many American families don't do anymore. There's something really cool about that and something that I find very appealing. And I do respect it. But it can also be difficult for a foreign husband if he does not understand what he's stepping into. You may marry one woman, but her family situation still matters. There may be parents who need help. There may be siblings with problems. There may be land issues, medical needs, children from previous relationship, grandchildren. There could be debts you're not aware of. I'm not saying this is all automatically bad, and I'm not trying to put things down. I'm saying be realistic and be honest with each other. Family needs help. Families need help everywhere. American families need help too at times. But you need to know what's real before you make great big decisions, life-altering decisions. If you think you're just marrying one person and floating off into a quiet retirement with no other responsibilities around you, you may be very surprised. A good relationship can handle family responsibilities when both people are honest and realistic. But if nobody talks about setting boundaries and money and family issues until the move, resentment can build very fast. T and I have tried to be completely honest with each other because resentment is poison to any marriage or relationship. We try to be 100% upfront and honest and have a rule that if we have something that is conflict in some way or we disagree with, to set take a deep breath and discuss it, because many times it's a cultural difference. And many times she'll see my way of thinking about it and we'll correct things, or I'll see her way of thinking about it and we'll correct things. And it's a whole lot simpler and better for your relationship to do that than just, setting down your foot and saying no to everything, or her setting down her foot. Be honest with each other, be caring with each other, and communicate. Communication is the key. Money changes things. Money is one of the biggest subjects men need to be honest about. When you're the foreign husband, there may be an assumption that you have more money than you really do. Sometimes that assumption comes from the woman. Sometimes it comes from the family. Sometimes it comes from the village and just their culture in general. Sometimes, if you're being honest with yourself, it may come from the man himself because he wants to feel generous, important, or needed. But your Social Security, retirement, or pension is not unlimited, guys. Be realistic. Selling a home in America may feel like a lot of money at first, but if you start using that money to solve every problem around you, believe me, it can disappear faster than what you think. There's a big difference between helping your wife and becoming the solution to every financial problem in the village or for the family. You can be generous, but don't become the village ATM. Excuse me. A good woman will understand that there has to be a plan. Tia and I have discussed that many times, and we agree on how we approach things. We talk about budgets, debt, where we'll help family and in what ways and what the limitations are. And we have an understanding that there are certain limits that we set on our funding. It's not always a fun conversation, but it's a necessary one, because love does not remove the need for math. If two people cannot talk honestly about money in any country before they move, they're probably going to have a harder time after the move. Don't sell everything while you're emotionally high. This is one of the biggest warnings I would give to a man who is thinking about moving to Thailand for a relationship. I've seen this happen and heard the horror stories over here. If you sell everything too fast just because you're excited, you can cause yourself a lot of grief. I understand the temptation you might have. You meet someone, you feel alive. Thailand costs less. America feels expensive, exhausting. Maybe you've been lonely. Maybe you're just tired of all the bills and the insurance and the politics. And you start thinking, why not just sell it all? Move to Thailand and start over. Believe me, I understand the thought. I had it many times. But once you sell everything, your choices change. You are limited. At first, it may feel like freedom, and maybe it is. Maybe it can also mean you removed your fallback position. If the relationship struggles, if visa problems come up, if your health changes, if family pressures get worse, or if Thailand all of a sudden doesn't feel the same after the honeymoon phase, you may wish you have kept your options open. I'm not saying never sell. Sometimes selling your home may be the right thing. I'm saying don't sell everything because you're tired, lonely, excited, or emotionally wrapped up in a new relationship. Relationships can change. It's just not the best frame of mind for making permanent financial decisions. Be logical. Your wife or girlfriend cannot be your whole life, guys. That's a huge mistake. Your Thai wife or girlfriend, that'd just be too much pressure for them and you. It'd be very difficult to put on one person. She may love you, she may be good to you, and she may be the reason you started thinking about Thailand in the first place, but she's still only one person. She has her own life. She may have family or farming, a farm, friends, at the temple, children, grandchildren, or responsibilities that existed long before you came along. If you move to Thailand, expect her to entertain you, translate everything, and solve every problem you may have and keep you from being lonely. That can wear a relationship down. It could be really hard on her. You need your own life, no matter where you're at and who you're with. That doesn't mean that you need some big dramatic mission. You could have something as simple like I do, having, exercise, walking, learning Thai, taking care of your health, making videos, helping around the property in a way that's actually useful. I ride motorcycles, do photography, just have things that you would have wherever you live, the general routine day with hobbies. A good marriage adds to your life. It shouldn't be the only thing holding your life together. If you do that, you're making a very big mistake. I will guarantee it. You must have your own life and things that you do for your self-worth and your enjoyment. The language barrier is real and you need to consider it. Language matters so much more than what people think. When everything's going well, the language barrier may seem manageable. You use a translation app, Google Translate, you learn a few words, you laugh at your mistakes at first. It can even feel like part of the adventure to you. It does to me. But when something serious happens, language becomes a much bigger deal. If there's a hospital visit, a problem with your banking, a government office issue, a family conflict, or a disagreement with your wife, not understanding the language can make you feel extremely helpless. You may have to rely on her for almost everything, and that can be frustrating for you, and it can be really exhausting for her. That doesn't mean you have to become fluent in Thai overnight. Thai is not easy language, I know that. It's tough, but effort matters. Learning some of the language gives you more independence, and it also shows respect to the culture. It'll take some pressure off your wife because she does not have to be your full-time translator, guide and problem solver every day. That matters more over time than a lot of men realize at the very beginning. It's very important to realize that if you're in the rural area of Isan, you are going to find very, very, very few people that speak any English. If it is, it's very broken, and sometimes you will do like I did. I'll speak to them, and because of their polite nature, they'll look at you and nod, and I would think they're understanding, but they're not. They just aren't understanding. They just don't want to embarrass themselves or embarrass you, so they just agree with you almost no matter what you say. So a lot of times I use the translator, but you can't count on it 100% because Thai is such a tough language. There's many words in English that are not in Google Translate. So it will be a very broken sentence, and I will see sometimes they'll look at it and not understand. And I find that one of the remedies for this is use very basic, simple grammar and sentences. Generally, when I do that, they get the gist of what I'm saying. So that's a little tip for you. I hope it helps you. And let's get on to the next section. Good relationships are built slowly. Excuse me. The relationships that I've seen that's worked the best are the ones that have been built slowly and with extreme honesty. No relationship's perfect, but honesty is required. You need to know each other's real life, not just the polite version, the dating version. You need to understand all situations, financially, family members, where you're planning on living, whether the goal is Thailand or America or a combination of both, like Tia and I, we're planning on a 50-50 deal. You need to know that you guys can talk about hard things without turning everything into some big drama or, argument. A relationship that can't handle honest conversations before marriage is bound to fail. It'll never get stronger after marriage. It's just not going to happen. If that's the only thing that's holding it together is attraction or money or escaping your old life, it's just not enough, you guys. A good Thai woman deserves better than that, being treated like a retirement rescue plan, and a good American man deserves better than making life-changing decisions while he's lonely and not thinking clearly. I mean, I've seen people that have came over here, men, and they found a Thai woman, got married just because they were old and wanted somebody to take care of them because they were sick. Man, that's just a terrible reason to do that. It's terrible for you if you do that, and it's terrible for the Thai woman. So be real honest about why you're doing this. Be honest with your girlfriend or soon-to-be spouse. Be honest with yourself, especially. What's the big plan out of everything? What's the goal, and what's going to be fair to both people? All right, guys, here's my honest take on it for what it's worth. Is don't move to Thailand just for a woman or romance. Move to Thailand because the life itself makes sense for you. Move because you understand the cost, the culture, the visa situation, your medical situation, realities of your family, and what your normal everyday days are going to look like. If there's a good woman in that life, that can be a wonderful thing, but she should not be the whole plan. That's when men get into trouble. They build the entire move around one relationship, and then if their relationship goes south and goes bad, they realize they never really built a life in Thailand at all. They only built a life around her or a person, and that's a dangerous place to be. All right, guys, I'm going to close this video out with this thought. If you're thinking about moving to Thailand because you met someone, slow it down. This doesn't mean to stop. It doesn't mean to assume the worst. It doesn't mean treat every relationship like a trap. That's a mistake. It just means use your head, use your common sense, and just think about what you're doing. Spend enough time in Thailand to understand normal life. Talk honestly about money. Understand the family situation. Think about where you want to live, what you're going to do every day. What happens if the relationship struggles or if your health changes? What happens if you need to go back to your home country? Thailand can be a good life. A Thai marriage can be a wonderful thing. I know mine is. But neither one works well if it's just built on fantasy. If you're thinking about retiring, relocating, or spending serious time in Thailand, and you want some help and want to talk to me, about the practical side and some of my experiences, you can visit ricksadventurestv.com. I offer one-on-one consulting for people who want the real-world conversation, not a sales pitch. We'll just talk things through, and I'll try to help you out. So with that said, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Be safe, be healthy, and be happy.